Welcome. This is the Reverend Dr. Gilberto Rosado. I welcome you this day to our broadcast. Today we'll be treating the recent issues with our federal government, the government shutdown, and um, the debating between the parts of government that we're going through today, these days. I want to point out here, as we see in the Reuters article concerning the voting now going on with the different funding of parts of the government, while the Democratic part of our government is holding out um, in order to force the other side to approve the whole funding of the government, and it's basically a tit for tat situation. Today, I'm not into politics in that sense, in terms of political fighting and debating, but I do talk about what's right and what is cognitive and what is just, because I feel that a lot of people don't understand really the workings of the social fabric, and I should say the social political fabric, the role of government in our lives, and what we should do as a society, as the supportive base for government, for without which there would be no government, no need for government, there was no people. That's why the Constitution says we the people. We are the ones who form the government, and the government exists for our protection and for our benefit, whichever benefit that would be. We need to understand this. So this is something that has to be understood. And the issue here is about fairness, because the government is established upon fairness. Obviously, we're a representative government. It represents the people, and that delineates a lot of the ways that people should respond and relate with the government, and therefore think about the government. And issues concerning now this shutdown, of course, there's factions of our population, our neighbors, our friends, our co-patriots who are suffering the results of this. And obviously, when things are the other way as well, when everything is good for those our friends and neighbors, well, there's some other friends and neighbors that are suffering anyway. Either way, there's always someone's going to suffer. Nothing is ever 100% good for everybody all the time, 100% of the time. So that's a reality, but that's life. Also, it's the realities of life. Not every day is going to be sunny. There's some rainy days, and rainy days are good. But again, some people don't see it that way, and it's unfortunate. But a rainy day is as good as a sunny day. You need rain. We need water, and we need to eat. And eating is based on things that need water, right? So hey, listen, rainy days are wonderful. They're fantastic. But again, an individual's perception and your reasoning, one's reasoning really determines how you're going to view things. And when these views, and you gather a group of people with the same view, you understand? Let's use that for example. Rainy days are terrible. Rainy days are negative days. They're bad days. Oh, you get the blues and that. And let's say you form a party, a political party. So that means that every time it's raining, that whole political party is going to be sad and depressed, and this is the way they're going to legislate. In other words, we have to legislate rainy day legislation. And that'll be their strong point. We do the lazy day Health Care Act, and we do the rainy day. Did I say something else? I thought I did. Rainy day whatever policy, whatever law, whatever subchapter of the law, whatever. I mean, this is the reality of what's going on, especially in the political world today. Um, you get enough people thinking the same way, based on reason or not, and you have a political party. Now, and so this is what we need to realize as a population. Now, you have also people in the media also have political leanings, and that's also based on if they're a rainy day or if they're not a rainy day, or right. So you understand. So then the media, I am also part of that media, and if my publication carried or promoted, if you will, my point of view or my perspective, and my readers enjoyed that my perspective in the news reporting and in the things I chose to report on and the way they were reported on. So this is also true, you know. But in that sense, that's where the catch is, and that's where we have to be careful. We have to be intellectually honest. Be honest. There are certain things that are that are partisan, and necessarily so to one point or to another, to identify the party, to have the party's characteristic message and their appeal to that group of people, if they're rainy dayers or if they're not rainy dayers. You have to appeal to your group. It's right. There's a group that think alike and have a common thread in their philosophy and thinking. Um, and but there's other needs and other issues that should not be partisan. Okay, and that is where the representatives and the people need to be honest and fair. That's a very important thing. Honest and fair. So what things should be partisan and what things should not be partisan. Okay, and so we cannot and what parts of the government should be partisan. And we have to understand that certain parts of government should not be partisan at all. It should be exempt from partisan politics in order for there to be honesty and justice, right? And the Justice Department is one of them. The Justice Department cannot be Republican or Democratic or this or that. It has to be just, and that's the balancing. Can't be political. So that's a danger. And once the um, the court becomes a political entity, either by manipulation or inherently, then the system of checks and balances will fail. That will fail. Um, and we need to understand when issues that should not be partisan are manipulated and controlled and made partisan, that is also a danger to the democracy. And it's miseducation to misleading the people. And the people are misled because they're led to believe that a certain issue is partisan when it really isn't. It's national. Okay, and it's an issue of the nation, of all our beliefs and creeds, okay, and all of our lifestyles, and has nothing to do with a partisan factor that should be under a partisan type of purview. So these things, and what are those things? Do you know of any? That's a question. Do you know of any issue that is not partisan? Really? Everything we're all looking through these eyeglasses of either we can't look, we're looking at one eyeglass, right? One glass, one lens. Either you're looking through the Democratic lens, or you're looking through a Republican lens, or you're looking at another little lens, a microscopic lens here or there. um, but no one really is looking stereoscopically, right? We're not taking in both. We're not looking at the panorama. We're not looking at what is in the national interest. Okay, what's called the interest of the country, which is further obfuscated when the leader, the head honcho, of the country also leads the people in one view over another. And when they have the language and the speaking that comes in from the White House, and it comes down and goes through the media again, that media which is pro that point of view, they really elaborate on it and they really espouse, and the other side is knocking it down. I mean, this is also another issue. It misleads the people, it divides the people, it weakens the government in the eyes of the people, and it also therefore weakens the government in the eyes of the world, the people of the world, because they're looking at how democracy works. Democracy should have reason, and the pundits of democracy should be the foremost pundits of reason and therefore of education. So the the first role of government should always be to the people, educate the people, and be just, be very just, and be very truthful, fair to all of its people, and not trash one part of this people and their representatives over another. And unfortunately, this is what we're having here. We don't have respect from one group, one party to the next, and the country, the citizen is held hostage because of this backbiting and throwing at each other in Congress, and the people are suffering in between. We're the ones who are going to suffer because there's no reasoning being espoused and accept it, because there's one thing for one party to espouse something of reason or even a percentage of reason, but it's another thing for the other side to accept reason or whatever percentage of reason there is. I mean, we're held back. We're held back because we're throwing away the baby with the bathwater, and whatever the Republicans say, and then whatever the Democrats say, we're doing the same thing on the other side. Come on, that's the fact, and that's the reality. I have my political views. I have my political leanings, but not when it comes to these issues. These issues simply degrade the government, degrade the respect that people have for government. And you just look around. Look around at the media, how even the so-called American media, is dishing the government. Dissing the government. I should say dishing so it can be served. But dissing the government. And the people follow suit. The American people are calling the House of Representatives the House of Turds. Can you believe that? House of Turds. Do you realize that there are representatives? I've said this in another recording. And they're a house. They're the House of the Representatives. They represent us. The senators represent us. Represent. So you're going to call them turds. That's what you're calling the American people. That's a great offense. And I'm greatly offended at any media and any individual American citizen. I feel sorry for you as well. You're worthy of compassion, really. But the media is irresponsible in assisting enemies of the state and people that would love nothing more to see this government go down the tubes, assisting their efforts by suggesting that the American people are turdy. Okay, and that's what you did when you said that when you posted and you have statements like comparing the Congress to a house of turds. That is totally irresponsible, and it's killing the American people, because you're killing us, because you're destroying our pride, our respect for the results. And let me tell you, the government and the American nation is a result of men and women who fought and gave their lives to defend democracy, and you're smearing their reputation, you're smearing their honor with all of that. That's total garbage. total garbage. And this is what's happening today in our social political context. Congress respect each other and take care of what has to be taken care of. If one side, the Republicans, are presenting a little piecemeal, and you know what? Is that a good piece? You know what? Accept it. Let's get through. Let's progress, because right now we're being obstinate. For what purpose? What is the purpose? To show that one party is more powerful than the other? Is that really your purpose? Do you really have wet dreams that the United States going to turn all Democratic? Is that the Democratic Party? Because we are Democratic. I mean, come on. You're you're talking about the Tea Party as if they're not American citizens. These are American citizens. They're taxpayers. They pay part of your salary. For them, maybe, unfortunately. They are American citizens. They're my brothers and my sisters. They are patriots. We have far too much silliness, stupidity, racism, and bigotry. And then we see in the offices of the high offices of this country, we see inclinations of the same when we disrespect this other side of the aisle, which they have a purpose there. And is there any illegality involved here? Is there anybody breaking the law? They have not broken the law. They are doing what they have the right, the constitutional right, and the policies and bylaws of the Congress allow them and give them the right to accept or not accept. And for any part of government to trash that, to poo-poo that, it's a terrible shame, a tragedy to what this government is, and to all the people who fought and built for it and gave their intellect to construct its basis and the ideation of it. You're disrespecting, you're spitting at them. They were idiots, they were retards for even suggesting such a type of government as this. And that's basically what you guys are doing, destroying it. That's irresponsible. Let us respect each other. Let us allow everyone to have their voice. And let us be intelligent. And show the world that Americans are intelligent. That's why we're a great nation. Not because of bombs, not because of military mights, not because of dictatorships or dictating to the world what to do. No, but because we're intelligent. Not infantile, which is basically what's going on right now with the back and forth and back and forth. Now that they're offering something as a piecemeal, I would take it. I'll take it. Thank you. Let's get the other part of government now. Fine. How about this one? Come back with them. Okay, we accept this, approve it, pass it. How about this other part of government here? These people are suffering. Can we have something? And then, and let the Republicans. Okay, yes. So cooperation, no, cooperation, progress. That is what should be happening. Not condemnation, not criticism, not putting down the other side, which is all you're doing. Is putting down the American people. You want to criticize, you're criticizing the American people. And that means that you're divisive. So what are you trying to do? Have a civil war? That's the end of my comment for today. Very unfortunate.